Hey everyone, hope you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of commodities, work our way through the dollar, yields, precious metals, and commodities ETFs that I follow. I'll interject my financial opinions as we go through it together. And if you need help with anything, check out finding-value.com. That's where I dive deeper into all of these topics and subjects, looking for potential investment opportunities and sharing those opportunities with everyone in the community. We do have a coupon code special. Special is the coupon code. You get 50% off the first month only, and a larger discount on the yearly membership if you'd like to sign up for a yearly membership. Let's dive in, take a look, see what's going on today. We've got a stronger dollar, breakout of the falling wedge to the upside, looking good for an extended move of the dollar. Generally, the dollar strengthens under an increasing interest rate environment, or it can also strengthen under a fearful environment as well, where you see the dollar up and yields down. That does happen every once in a while. But we bounced off that support area. There's the support area I'm talking about. And we created a falling wedge coming up to it and have broken to the upside. Yields, we've got the 2-year yield continuing to fall. That is heading lower. And then we've got the 10-year yield a little bit higher today, but the momentum is still to the downside. And the 30-year up 0.6% bouncing off of support. But there's momentum to that downside move, just holding at support at the moment. If we continue to see yields drop, depending on how fast they drop, especially the 2-year versus the 10-year or longer end of the curve, and the dollar continues to strengthen, that could be a sign of a problem. And that is generally what you see during a problem, is when this jets lower, which we are seeing, and the dollar strengthens. TYX TNX ratio is up today, but that did not help gold. That's generally, you'll see this come on up. That's your 10-year dropping faster than the 30 or going up less than the 30. TLT bond prices down slightly on the long end of the curve, but still in the mud in terms of a lot of support resistance in previous years. The 2 and 10, we did get a move lower today, and we'll see if that continues lower, if this is just a flag-ish pattern. So we can take these guys out and extend across. So we could do something on the lines like, well, that didn't work very well. On the lines of something like this, and then I can come back and extend it this way. So that's the uptrend that we've got going on, and we'll see if that breaks that uptrend. And what does that mean? It means that we've got an uninverting yield curve, strengthening dollar and lower 2-year yield. That's generally not a good thing to see. Gold down $43 an ounce. We hit some resistance up here. I drew that a long time ago, and now we're back to support, and we'll see if that holds. We've got silver down 1.3%, pulling on back, but we're still above a gaggle of support up here. We've got platinum down 2.45%, nice little pullback, and we're coming towards support at some point at 925. And then palladium also selling off pretty big here, down 2.6%, cutting through a little bit of support. We've been lower than this before, but we'll see if it holds or if we continue to free fall lower. GDX selling off 3.4%. GDXJ selling off 4.4%, and SILJ selling off 4.4%. So we're getting some pretty strong selling pressure, and this does look like we want to go lower, and that these are just continuation inverted flag patterns, stair-stepping lower. And you can see we were breaking to the downside, today of that pattern. So we could see further downside in the short term for the gold and silver mining companies. XE to gold ratio, we are also down today, 2.5%. We're back to support. We'll see if that support holds. Or if we temporarily head lower, we might be going through a slowdown here. We'll see, but the 2-year yield dropping and the yield curve uninverting, if it continues to go, we could see a move lower here. Crude oil, surprisingly, up 2.2% roughly. So we're up on crude oil, down on most everything else that we've looked at, and it's hanging out at support at this current time. TTF gas rocketing higher. We were trying to break out of this lower channel support trend line, and we've got a nice big bullish engulfing keeping us within the channel so far. Natural gas in America slightly selling off, still above long-term, that blue trend line support. And it doesn't look bad because we don't have a ton of selling pressure here. Kind of looks like we're trying to put some sort of falling pennant, falling wedge formation. Our boy XOP, yeah, you know me, selling off a little bit, down 0.7%. We are falling out a little bit of this. And again, if you remember, I talk about this pattern here and flipping it, where we could get something on the lines of this as a possibility where we might shoot lower for a temporary bit. If something like that occurs, then it occurs. And that's kind of what could happen. OIH up a little bit today, trying to find support right where it's at. And we've got downside momentum in the short term. It's not good to be hanging out underneath this rising channel to the downside. So there very well could be another move like that is totally possible in the short term. And probably highly likely if the yield curve continues to invert and the 2-year falls off a cliff, that's highly likely. Newcastle coal futures down 1.34%. We're coming back to support. We'll see if that support holds. Sprott Physical Uranium Trust, we had some excitement yesterday. Now we're getting some selling pressure down 4.5%, still above the broken down trend line in the short term. We've got uranium futures pricing down slightly, down 0.4%, still above support. We've got URA down 3.85%. I know we were trying yesterday, but man, the sellers really came in today. So be patient. Let's see if there's more downside left in this thing. There very well could be. URNM also getting that selling pressure today. It's a big bearish engulfing. And then we also have URNJ getting that very similar candlestick. They're also closing quite strong to the downside. So that means that there's momentum still for selling pressure in uranium at this exact moment. Copper up 1.2%. We're trying to break the upper end of this pattern here to the upside. We'll see if we've got enough juice to get up there or if the overall market's way down on us. COPX selling off 1.8%. That is more of a bearish formation there. Bearish engulfing, and the momentum is to the downside. Iron ore down 2.5%. Looks like they're starting to get hit with some selling pressure as well. It was kind of just hanging out, but now it's getting a little bit of selling pressure. Aluminum up 0.03%, and we have not broken out of that resistance yet. It looks good to try to, and we'll see if it can. Nickel trading flat, which some days trading flat is definitely a win. Still looks okay. Mu down 0.5%, and we're still in this pattern. And again, this is a breakout retest to move on higher. We've got emerging markets down 2%, pulling on back, and that's that stronger dollar having an impact. We've got KRE, which is the regional banking ETF, just holding steady, but momentum's to the downside. You can see a high there and a lower high. And this is kind of your support area that we don't want to break below. TAN down 3.66. It's caving into the pressure of all that selling pressure across the board. That could go lower. We've got lithium down slightly. It's holding, and we're above this downward facing wedge, which is generally a bullish formation, but with the selling pressure going on, we'll see if it's got the power to overcome that. REMX trading sideways down 0.6%, right at support still. Baltic Dry Index up 7%, looking pretty good and heading higher. XHB selling off 1.6%. This is fallen to the downside of this rising wedge. Doesn't look good, guys. And if we get a lower home builder ETF and lower 2-year yields that are dropping like a rock, and we've got the yield curve on inverting, it starts to paint a picture. If you start to see housing starts break below 1.2 million and U.S. construction workers rolling over, then you've got a picture that you're starting to paint. We could also be putting in what could be a potential shoulder, head, shoulder, maybe. We'll see what kind of follow through there is in this. We've got Russell 2000 heading lower, 1.6%, seeing some pretty strong selling pressure, closing towards its lows of the day. We're at its lows. The S&P 500 also getting a lot of selling pressure today, down 1.6%, and it's still above support, but we'll see if it holds. And then the NASDAQ down 2.8%. That looks like garbage. And you can see these big red candlesticks were the distribution candlesticks. It looks like we've got distribution occurring now. SMCI down 16%. We've got NVIDIA down 8.5%, breaking through support, looking like that wants to go to the downside. These are distribution candlesticks through here, big boys. And this could look pretty ugly for the overall markets. Bitcoin down slightly. It's holding on for dear life. Still momentum to the downside. We've got Ethereum down 2%. And again, this is a bearish formation that's still playing out. And we'll see if there's any more follow through with downside pressure. MicroStrategy's down about almost 9%. That looks pretty rough too. Momentum to the downside, big bearish engulfing today, looking pretty weak. And then the VIX up 10.63%. I put this trend line there. That could break, and we could see a selling pressure move in the S&P 500, maybe even across the board for a little while. So that's what we've got for today. Give me a thumb up for the content. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the website if you guys like. That is the special coupon code if you want a discount. We've got a question and answer session coming up on Saturday, 7 a.m. And we'll see you guys there. Catch ya.